Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The air inside the hospital room felt too still, too fragile, as if even the walls were afraid to breathe. Maxie Jones lay propped up against the pillows, pale but undeniably awake, her eyes darting around the room as if she had surfaced from a nightmare that refused to fully release her. Machines hummed softly in the background. The world had moved on while she slept. People had changed, time had passed, and yet the moment she truly woke up, everything seemed frozen in the past. Her first question hadn't been about her condition, it hadn't been about how long she'd been unconscious. It had been about Nathan's. And that was when the world shattered. Felicia Scorpio stood at her daughter's bedside, hands trembling despite her brave smile. She had rehearsed this moment 100 times in her head. She had imagined relief, tears, disbelief, but nothing prepared her for the raw vulnerability in Maxie's eyes. "Sweetheart," Felicia whispered gently, brushing Maxie's hair back, "there's something you need to know." Maxie blinked slowly. "About Nathan." Felicia hesitated only a second. "He's alive." The silence that followed felt violent. Maxie's brows knitted together, confusion flickering across her face before it hardened into something else, fear. "That's not funny," she said, her voice hoarse. "Mom, that's not funny." "It's not a joke," Felicia insisted. "He's alive, he came back, he was found in a crashed truck outside of town, no memory of what happened during the past 7 years, but it's him. The DNA tests confirmed it, his fingerprints match." Maxie's breathing grew shallow, her heart monitor began to beat faster. "I saw his body," she whispered. "I held his hand at the funeral, I buried him." Felicia's eyes filled with tears. "We all thought he was gone, but he was." The room began to spin. Maxie squeezed her eyes shut, fighting the panic clawing up her throat. 7 years of grief, 7 years of crying herself to sleep, 7 years of telling her daughter stories about a father she believed was gone forever. "You're saying he just showed up?" Maxie demanded, her voice trembling with anger now, like nothing happened. Felicia nodded slowly. "He doesn't remember where he's been. He says he woke up confused, disoriented. He didn't even know how much time had passed." Maxie let out a bitter laugh. "Convenient." That was the word that stuck in her mind, convenient. Across town, Nathan West stood by the window of Dante's apartment, staring out at the city skyline as if he were trying to remember something hidden in the lights. 7 years. 7 years that felt like a black hole in his mind. Dante Falconeri leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed, studying Nathan carefully. "She's awake," Dante finally said. Nathan swallowed hard. "Maxie." "Yeah, Felicia told her about you." Nathan's chest tightened painfully. "How did she take it?" Dante didn't sugarcoat it, "Not well." Nathan nodded slowly. He hadn't expected anything else. "She has every reason to hate me." "She doesn't hate you," Dante corrected firmly. "She's confused, shocked. You were dead, Nate. We all thought you were dead." Nathan dragged a hand down his face. "I don't even know what I am right now. I don't remember anything. I can't give her answers." Dante's gaze softened. "You don't need to have all the answers, you just need to show up." Nathan hesitated. "Because it wasn't that simple." "Not anymore." There was another complication neither of them had addressed directly: Lulu Spencer. Lulu, who had been there for him when he stumbled back into Port Charles. Lulu, whose quiet understanding had turned into something warmer, something dangerous. Nathan cleared his throat. "Does she know about everything?" Dante's expression shifted. "Lulu knows you're alive, that's enough drama for now." Nathan looked away, because that wasn't the whole truth. Meanwhile, at her home, Lulu sat alone on the couch, replaying Felicia's words over and over again. "Nathan is alive." It felt impossible, unreal. She had mourned him too. She had stood beside Maxie through every unbearable moment, and now he was back, changed, lost, vulnerable. And somewhere along the way, her feelings had crossed a line she never meant to approach. Back in the hospital, Maxie refused to let the shock settle. "If this is some kind of trick," she warned Felicia, "I will not survive it." "It's not a trick," Felicia insisted. "Brit's alive too." Maxie's head snapped up. "Brit?" "Yes, she came back months ago. There's so much you've missed." Maxie shook her head slowly, overwhelmed. "I wake up and suddenly the dead are walking around Port Charles." Her voice cracked and the bravado fell away. "What if he's not really Nathan?" she whispered. "What if someone made him believe he is?" Felicia reached for her hand. "The tests don't lie." Maxie's eyes filled with tears. "My heart does." Because no matter what science said, her heart remembered watching him die. The week moved quickly, tension building like a storm cloud over Port Charles. News of Maxie's welcome home party spread. February 19 would be the night she finally returned to her house, surrounded by friends, family, and possibly the man who had been dead for 7 years. Nathan stood outside the invitation list in his mind. Should he go? Would his presence destroy her fragile progress? Dante found him later that evening staring at his phone. "You're overthinking this." "I could ruin everything," Nathan muttered. "You already walked back from the grave," Dante replied bluntly. "Showing up to party isn't the worst thing you've done." Nathan let out a breathless chuckle. "What if she looks at me and sees a stranger?" "Then you let her decide that, not you." Nathan closed his eyes. He wasn't just afraid of Maxie's rejection. He was afraid of what seeing her again would stir inside him. Because despite the confusion, despite the missing years, one truth refused to fade. He still loved her. And that was exactly why this could derail everything. The night of February 19 arrived with a nervous energy that buzzed through Maxie's house like static. Streamers hung across the living room, soft music played in the background, laughter drifted through the halls as friends gathered to celebrate her return. It should have felt joyful. Instead, it felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. Maxie descended the stairs slowly, her hand gripping the railing. The room erupted in cheers when they saw her. "You look amazing," someone called. She forced a smile, she hugged friends, she thanked everyone for coming, she pretended this was normal. But her eyes kept drifting toward the door. Because she knew. If he came, he would come late. Nathan stood outside in the cool night air, heart pounding so loudly he was sure the neighbors could hear it. Dante's words echoed in his mind. "Just show up." His hand hovered over the doorknobs. Inside, Maxie's laughter faltered. Something shifted in the air. The door opened. Silence fell like a dropped glass. Nathan stepped inside. For a moment, no one moved. Maxie turned slowly. Their eyes met. 7 years of grief collided with one impossible reality. Nathan looked thinner, older, haunted. But his eyes were the same. Her breath caught painfully in her throat. "Nathan," she whispered. His voice broke when he answered, "Hi, Maxie." Tears streamed down her face before she even realized she was crying. She walked toward him slowly as if approaching a ghost. "Touch me," she demanded softly. He hesitated, then reached for her hand. The moment their skin connected, the room seemed to dissolve. She was warm, solid, real. Maxie's fingers tightened around his. "How?" she whispered. "I don't know," he admitted helplessly. "I don't remember anything. I wish I did." Her eyes searched his face desperately. "You died." "I know. I watched you die." Pain flashed across his features. "I'm sorry." The apology broke her. She stepped back suddenly. "No," she said, shaking her head. "You don't get to apologize like you just missed a meeting. You were gone, I grieved you, I built a life around your absence." The party guests shifted uncomfortably, witnessing something raw and intimate. Nathan nodded, tears in his own eyes. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness." Maxie's voice trembled. "Do you even love me?" The question hung heavy in the air. Nathan didn't hesitate. "Yes." It was immediate, instinctive. And that terrified her. Because love without memory felt like another trick. "You don't remember the last 7 years," she said. "You don't remember our daughter growing up. You don't remember the pain." "I remember you," he insisted. "Not the details, but I remember how you make me feel." Her heart twisted violently. Behind them, Lulu watched silently, her expression unreadable. Because she knew the truth too. Nathan might love Maxie. But his return had already complicated every relationship in town. Maxie wiped her tears angrily. "This party was supposed to celebrate me coming back to life," she said. "Instead, it feels like I'm mourning you all over again." Nathan stepped back slowly. "If my being here hurts you, I'll go." She looked at him, torn between fury and longing. "You don't get to walk out again," she said fiercely, "not without answers." "I don't have them," he admitted. "Then find them," she shot back. The room remained silent as the weight of that command settled between them. Maxie wasn't rejecting him, but she wasn't embracing him either. She needed proof beyond DNA, beyond fingerprints. She needed truth. As Nathan slowly backed toward the door, the celebration lay in ruins. The decorations felt hollow, the music had stopped. He paused before leaving, looking at her one last time. "I never stopped loving you," he said quietly. Then he walked out into the night. Maxie stood frozen in the center of her living room, surrounded by friends but feeling utterly alone. Because Nathan's return hadn't healed her. It had reopened every wound. And until she uncovered the truth about where he'd been and what secrets he might still be hiding, there would be no happily ever after. Port Charles was only at the beginning of this storm. Maxie had a lot to figure out. And this reunion was just the first explosion.